The PS5 has been a disappointment at launch. But I mean, what console doesn't struggle at launch? But it's been 8 months and mine is just gathering dust under the TV. And the reason no one's talking about it is because no one even has a damn console in hand. The PlayStation 5 has been selling out like it's Lysol or toilet paper like it's March 2020. And even then, I got the PlayStation at launch. And I was really excited about it at first because, you know, it was the newest thing and no one had it. And it's just a flex in the first couple days, you know? I had to go out and I felt like that kid that came from school with McDonald's in hand and just, you know, felt so good to tell everybody, yeah, I got the new PlayStation. Did you get it? Oh no, it's sold out? Couldn't be me. And it's still cool to tell people I got the PlayStation 5 ever since day one. But nowadays, it just doesn't hit the same because it's just gathering dust, like I said. I have no new games to play. And it's just because none of them are exclusive. And that's my biggest issue with launch. And then now you're going to say, hey, but Resident Evil 7 came out. We got Ratchet and Clank. A couple games came out, right? But my biggest issue with all that is that I don't need a PlayStation 5 to play those games. Those are all available on the PlayStation 4. And it doesn't help that the PlayStation 5 games are more expensive now too. So what's the point of even getting this game when I could just play it on the PlayStation 4 for cheaper? And I'm not trying to be like a cheap ass or anything. I'm just saying, hey man, I just bought a new console. Let it be an exclusive game. Let me know why I bought this console, not just to have it. I mean, at this point, I just could have kept my PlayStation 4. I could have been playing Resident Evil 7, Ratchet and Clank just the same as anybody. So far, the only PlayStation 5 exclusive game that I own is Demon's Souls. And that is just a remake of a PlayStation 3 game. And the rumor is that it's coming to the PlayStation 4 because it hasn't sold it on the PlayStation 5. So what is the point? Why even label it an exclusive game? Sure, it wasn't their intention to do that. It's all thanks to the scalpers because not a lot of people have the PlayStation in hand. And I guess there's not enough PlayStation 5 owners or actual people buying and playing games on the PS5. So a lot of developers have no choice but to release it on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, or just don't want to waste resources making a PlayStation 5 game if it's just not going to sell. It doesn't make sense because they're already claiming that development time for PlayStation 5 is a lot more expensive and they are charging more for the games. But even then, as an early adopter, I just don't feel like I'm getting my money's worth with the PlayStation 5, so I'm not even buying games. So at the same time, I'm contributing to the issue of not buying games on the PlayStation 5. And then I always forget about the other exclusive PlayStation 5 game that came out, and it's Astro's Playroom, which a lot of people just say it's just a tech demo, but I think it's a great game to come bundled with the PlayStation 5 to show off the DualSense controller, because the DualSense controller is legit. I love the triggers, I love the vibration, I think it's awesome. And it's a great little tech demo because it shows off what the PlayStation 5 is capable of. And a lot of launch consoles, when they come out, they always have that one game that keeps it alive during its launch. Like for the Wii, who didn't play Wii Sports for hours? In fact, that was the only game a lot of people would play because that was the reason why they even bought the Wii. And Wii Sports was basically another tech demo. It just showed off what the Wii was capable of. This control has motion in it, and you can pretend like you're playing tennis, boxing. I forget the other games. I know it's blasphemous so you can forget the other 5 games that came in it. But that tech demo, which was Wii Sports, actually helped. I mean, how many grandparents, how many old folks had a Wii just because it was so easy and accessible for people to play? There was no buttons. It was just a motion, a flick of the wrist, and it was fun to play with other people. But the PlayStation 5 doesn't really have something like that. The only thing it has is Astro's Playroom to show off the DualSense controller. But you easily forget about it because it's like a 4-hour campaign game, if you can consider that. I mean, it does have a lot of collectibles in the game, which celebrates the history of PlayStation, which I think is awesome. But no one's going to go out and buy a PlayStation 5 just for Astro's Playroom. Come on, let's be serious. And the next big seller for the PlayStation 5 was Miles Morales. But that just felt like an add-on DLC to the Spider-Man game that came out on PlayStation 4, which I may add, Miles Morales also came out on PlayStation 4. And sure, the only thing that you're missing from the PlayStation 5 version, if you were to get just the PlayStation 4 version of Miles Morales, is just that you don't get any of the DualSense features. But I mean, you're not missing out on much. It's still the same experience. The only added bonus you'd get is that you get the performance mode. And I believe that PlayStation 4 also gets that feature. I may be wrong about that. I know while playing God of War on the PlayStation 5, I noticed that they updated it for 4K graphics, but I never played it in the 4K graphics just because it drops the FPS to 30 frames per second. And for me, that's not fun. I always played in performance mode just to get the smooth 60 frames per second. And I did the same in Miles Morales because I did not like the 30 frames per second. So at the end of the day, I'm not even playing something with the biggest graphics or the newest improved graphics. I'm playing the game at 60 frames per second because come on, PlayStation 5, we have to play these high def games at 60 frames per second. I mean, come on, it's 2021. And don't get me started with the price increase on these games. Why am I paying $70 for Demon Souls? It's a PS3 remake. What's next gen about it? No game right now is taking full advantage of the PlayStation 5 power. In the future, when you get Uncharted 5 and you're using the max settings, then I'll understand for paying $70 for a game. But right now, it's ridiculous. Charge $60. I mean, PC games aren't $70, they're $60, and you get to pick what setting to play them at. You get to play them with the ultra setting all the way up, 4K resolution, and 144 frames. And at least at the moment for the PS5, no game is optimized to run at 60 frames per second for a 4K game. I may be showing my bias now because I was a PC gamer, so I'm used to playing 60 frames per second or above that. I mean, I do play the Switch. I love Breath of the Wild, and that was playing sub 30 frames per second at times. But I give that a slide. I mean, look at the console. It's literally a tablet. It's smaller than the iPad, and it's handling other games of that stature. And I mean, I'll give it a slide just for that. Look how small it is. But do you see the behemoth that is the PlayStation 5? Come on, man. What's in there? I thought we have the power of next gen in there, and we can't even do 4K at 60 frames per second that they were claiming to. I'm not going to sit here and say that the PlayStation 5 games are ugly, but it's just not the noticeable jump. Just for like from PS3 to PS4. We could tell the jump. But that's not the biggest issue here. My biggest issue is just exclusive games on the PlayStation 5 and then the lack of PlayStation 5 games. But the Xbox Series X also has the same problem as PS5. There's no killer software on that yet. It just has Game Pass. I mean, the Game Pass is a great value. I 100% recommend it. I have it on PC. But the reason I'm making this video in the first place is because the PS5 has had wild success. It's selling out. It's probably going to be the fastest selling console of all time and probably sell the most consoles this generation, obviously. And that's why I wanted to talk about what a disappointment it's been. It has so many highs, but I feel the console is at its lowest point that it'll be in its generation, because I do expect great things from it. I am excited about God of War. I'm a little less excited because I hear that's going to be a PlayStation 4 game as well. But I know in the future that the PlayStation 5 has some great exclusive games and I can't wait to play them. But in its first 8 months, it's been really disappointing. For all of you that are still trying to buy a PS5, please, for the love of God, don't buy it on resale. Don't go on StockX. Don't buy it from a scalper. Just wait it out. Because right now, it's not worth to have at launch. There's nothing. You're not missing out on anything. There's no crazy game. Anything you can play in it, you can play in the PlayStation 4. Take it from a 3DS launch buyer that it's worth waiting, because the 3DS at launch, 6 to 8 months later, it had a price drop. It didn't even have a remodel. It was not even the light version. It was a regular 3DS model at launch, but it dropped from $249.99 to $169.99. 6 to 8 months later. Granted, that's not going to happen with the PS5, but it's not worth paying $150 to $200 more for the PS5 currently if you're just going to wait for the next game to come out. Because I'm telling you, back in 2011, that 3DS game launch had a big drought. There was nothing for months. I was only playing it for my DS games at the time, because I actually traded in my DS at the time because I was a kid who couldn't really afford to buy a new launch console in 2011. And just to speculate on the PS5 stock, I mean, it might be 2 years for this thing to be readily available in stores. And usually it takes PlayStation around 2 years, maybe even 3 with this console, to actually come out with a remodeled version, and sometimes they'll have a price drop. So even then, I wouldn't expect all the games or any PS5 exclusive games to come out during that time. And if they do, you can honestly wait. Unless you get the PS5 during that time, which should be a lot easier to get than right now, 8 months later. But honestly, you could probably wait for a remodeled PS5 or at least a price drop on the console, because not a lot of games are coming out. And it might be worth it in the future. You're just going to pay maybe $100 cheaper. You can get all the games instead of just waiting for them to come out. Or if you know, forget what I'm saying. Go ahead, pay resale, get the console now, flex your friends, feel like you have the new shiny toy. You're going to love it, because if you want it this bad and you're going to pay the extra $250 for the PS5, do it. You're going to love it. I think it's still a great console. I just think it's a little disappointing there's nothing to play on it. I can't wait to play God of War, the new Spider-Man game that's eventually going to come out on the PS5. I can't wait what else is in store. I know PlayStation 5 missed the E3 this year for 2021, We all know Sony's gonna come out with some sort of PS Direct just like Nintendo to announce all the future games coming out. At least in the moment, I regret buying the PlayStation 5 because I could have used that money for even better things. Just think about it, man. I could have took what I paid for the PS5 and put in some Dogecoin in November 2020. And you know how that thing went to the moon in 2021? I could have made a small fortune. Instead, here I am making a video about how disappointed I am in the PS5. I mean, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to be excited for the future. And I can't wait to see what PS5 has in stock for us. Get it in stock. Because eventually it should get in stock. I'll stop. At the end of the day, you could be saying I'm nitpicking the PS5, but it just really, fucks with me that I paid full price for this console and there's nothing going on with it. I don't know. I just thought it'd be a fun discussion to talk about. Let me know if you love your PS5. Maybe you've been also disappointed by the PS5. Let me know in the comments. Just let me know. Have you been playing your PS5? What have you been playing on the PS5? Or are you just playing PS4 games? Is this your first PlayStation? Or are you like me and you kind of regret buying it at launch and wish you would have waited? Or you don't care, you just love to have the PlayStation or any new console at launch. That's just who you are. I mean, a lot of times us gamers, we're just hoarders. I love to buy all the collector's editions. I love to buy all the consoles at launch. Well, anyway, yeah, just let me know in the comments while we reach the first year anniversary of this next generation. Thanks for watching.